That's all I got.
Powers Booth, rest in peace. All right, now we do have a discussion to get into. That's in itself, it's not the happiest news. It's just something to, like, really make you wonder. Now, a direct market pioneer was killed recently in a robbery. Not even a robbery gone wrong, just a robbery where he tried to defend his store and his product. Somebody who sold, like, comics and memorabilia, entertainment stuff. And some dude came into the store, basically, did the whole browse around, snatched up a bunch of stuff, and then ran. And the guy chased him down, and the guy managed to make it. The robber managed to make it to his car and start to drive off. Now, he drove off with the quickness because this dude chased him with the gun. And he said, give me my stuff back or else, I'm going to ventilate you. So, unfortunately, when he got to the car, the driver started, and then the store owner grabbed the the door handle, and, was banging on the glass with the gun, give me my stuff back, stop the car, get out. And the dude just pulled it in reverse, and the driver was dragged a little, hit his head, and unfortunately did not survive the injuries.
Wow.
But he's the one who had the gun.
He is the one that had the gun. He was defending his property, man.
Yeah, I get it, but it's like how much product did he take? Like, what's the value of that? You know what I mean? To chase a guy down with a gun.
Yeah, was it really worth it?
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming.
I mean, I get it. Like, I would want to defend my store too, and like, there's no room for getting jacked, but I don't want to chase a guy down, blocks with a gun either.
I mean, we can probably presume it was something, whatever it was, however much it was worth it.
Yeah, but I mean, is it worth like your life, and is it worth taking a life? Because you seem pretty determined with a gun chasing someone down too. So like, what's the end result of that?
I'm someone who's really into these things, and I assume you have to be into these things to start a store. So I think we're on some same level of of kinship there. And what I'm getting at is I'm lazy. So if somebody grabs about $5 worth of books, let them have
thought about it, like, sit back down.
At the same time,
should I run? Should I not run?
But if they're grabbing a fistful or an armful of rare issues,
yeah, but you don't keep those by the door, You
don't keep those by the door. But then again, this dude robbed the place. I'm assuming he scoped it out. He knew where the most valuable stuff was.
I guess, yeah.
He could have done a counter jump while the dude was on the other side helping a customer.
I'm just thinking about how my friend Glenn owns Magic Dragon Comics over in Arlington, which is a kind of a similar style of just a collectible memorabilia comic book shop, usually staffed by only one, maybe two people at most at a time. And this really made me think about the kind of things that he has in his shop and like that could have happened. And there's a case that has, $100 more than $200 figurines in it. And if somebody knew what to grab and had cased it beforehand, you could make out with thousands of dollars of stuff. It's specific, I'm thinking about also like Midtown Comics is a great example in New York City. They have $400 or $500 figurines there.
Yeah, but you also got to figure like where are they going to sell this to that you can't like track it. You know what I mean? If you report that.
Oh, you easily could. You easily could sell any of that online.
Yep.
Which is unfortunate.
Tor browser is a wonderful thing, my friend.
Yeah.
It leads you to a whole new world of anonymity.
I think this whole thing gives a better view into how struggling small businesses are.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to figure, the amount of profit that a store like that makes is not that high. So that's probably why he chose to chase the guy down. At least that's what my assumption would be.
That's why you need the mob.
Every little thing matters to him.
Yeah, that's what made me think about my friend Glenn. Just I know the kind of way he operates his shop, and it's walking on the edge of a knife. That if somebody came in and stole, maybe even just $500 worth of merchandise, that could be you making rent that month.
Yeah, see, and I know every time I've cased Glenn's store, I never took anything.
Shout out Glenn, we will not rob you.
He has that star metal sword by the door there. So, no, I know Magic Dragon, and yeah, you make a very good point. It's like if this person grabbed, it could have been like, $5,000 worth of stuff. That's like 4, really rare issues. Maybe this store was one of the lucky ones that was, that had a couple of amazing fantasies, in stock.
Yeah, but there are stores who have things like that are either up by the register even. Like, you don't know, we don't have specifics of this guy. Like, he could grab something crazy.
Just as an example, though, it would make it worth it to chase him down. But also, self-preservation is a thing. You have to think about that, but also that I don't want to get too far off our actual point. Are these stores easier targets because of that?
Absolutely. I think so wholeheartedly, because you're talking about a small business. Now, they're not going to have the type of security, the type of insurance, any of that you're going to have in a corporate location. So when you're talking about one of these small stores, I mean...
Like I said, it is usually manned by one person,
Right,
you know what I mean? You got to assume they
do
probably think they're not going to chase them down.
Yeah.
That'll be the owner.
Especially with a gun in a comic book shop.
Backup.
Those are usually communities too. You go to the local comic shop or game store, you see a lot of the same people in there all the time. So you have a sense of security, I think, as a shop owner that you know your clientele for the most part.
Well, see, I think that would make it less likely then. You know, I'm from the city where it's like, you know, people get robbed all the time. You don't know they're anonymous, so, you know, you keep your thing handy. But in a community where you know folks, you know your regular customers, anyone new that comes in, you may want to keep an eye on them. Or at the very least, you know, this is Philip. He comes in here, you know, twice a week for the last 20 years. You know, I'm pretty sure he's going to come in and get his pack of gum, you know, stay, lose a round of magic, and then take off.
Right.
You know, and then some new guy comes in, he's got a zoot suit on, he's shuffling a deck of cards. I don't know what criminals look like these days.
Well, that's exactly right. That's
Do you own anything that would make you give chase with a gun?
Me?
If somebody was to rob it?
I do own a few things, yeah.
They would immediately grab a gun and chase after the guy?
Well, I wouldn't grab a gun. None of my guns are lethal. I would grab a couple of practice scimitars I have.
My love gun, yeah.
I don't know. It just seems more badass chasing down with a sword.
Didn't we talk about a story where someone stopped a robbery with a sword?
We glossed over it. It wasn't a full story.
But
yeah,
I remember this.
Yeah, a guy tried to rob a store with a machete.
It was Adrian Paul.
Behind the counter.
He had a larger knife.
Dude, yeah, exactly. The owner pulls out a samurai sword. Mine is bigger. I win.
You pull a Crocodile Dundee.
Exactly.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Beautiful. And I love the fact they had the footage from multiple angles, so you got to see the whole thing. The guy comes in, give me the register. The guy's like, no.
Cuts his sword in half.
Like, you offended my family. It's like, whoa, buddy, I just want some gum.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the guy passed away in this.
Yeah, that's the real tragedy here, the fact that it was a loss of life, and we don't even know for how much. We can only assume it was for high value stuff, but if this was just sentimental value for the guy, you know, maybe he opened his store with just one long box and a dream, and it was all crappy 25 cents.
I think part of it too is like, how dare this guy? This guy's really going to rob me. I just want to punish him in some way too, not just like that stuff's worth something.
Well, that's kind of
like this guy can't get away.
That's what I was bringing up my friend's store.
You know?
It's like I know that he only really has like one employee. It's his baby. This is his whole. He has this store, and honestly, I could see my friend doing the same thing. Like I'm just trying to put myself in the shoes of the store owner.
What kind of samurai swords is Glenn packing there?
I am not at liberty to discuss what kind of samurai swords Glenn has. I am at liberty to discuss that he was in the army, so I can.
Oh, it's
say,
like that.
Don't go rob the Magic Dragon.
Okay, so what kind of solid snake, ridiculous, FAMAS rifles does he have behind there?
I mean, again, I have no idea what you're speaking of. He's a gentle soul who runs a comic book store.
I'm stealing these My Little Pony figures, old man.
But jokes aside, it makes me think less about the monetary value of these items, and as we were discussing, more just the slight that this gentleman may have felt to have had his business abused in this manner, and was he right to chase this man with a weapon? I'm not going to conjecture on that, and most likely no. But it still is this position where, again, either for monetary reasons, maybe this would have been a big hit to them, or even just pride. I can understand how somebody who has this business that is their whole life, and to have someone come in and, abuse that, it can make someone very quick to anger. And again, it's very unfortunate how things played out, but I can absolutely see how somebody would do this, how somebody would say, not today, and I'm coming after you.
I was to say, I can actually share with you, I used to be a retail manager at a business, and I was robbed, actually. I was the person who was robbed when I was making a deposit.
Wow. Okay. How many Fabergé eggs did they take?
Yeah, just 3.
The Yankee Candle, sorry.
And that's how Costco was founded.
But no, the reason I bring it up is because I was part of a corporate retail environment, right? And when I got robbed, my adrenaline levels shot up to such ridiculous levels that I didn't know what to do with them, and I had a hard time reacting right away. Once I came to and understood what was happening,
you Mortal Kombat
I would like to say that I Scorpioned him and pulled out the spinal cord. But what really happened was I handed him the money and then left. But I can only imagine, because of the adrenaline that I was feeling at that time, what it would have been like if it was my place. I think it would have been a totally different scenario, because I probably could have ran a marathon right then, and I'm not. You guys might not be able to see me, but I am not a marathon running man. I don't have the figure for it.
Well, if they're watching us on twitch.tv/the Geek Down, they can.
Yes. Well, but I mean, I could have done anything in that moment. And, like I said, once I came to, I just handed it over. But if it was my business, as much as I know the right thing to do, I think, is you let it go, because your life's more important than anything. might have had a hard time.
It just seemed like he had the gun, so he was probably going to use it. You know what I mean? So like, what if like the guy chased him down and it was like whatever it was, the monetary value of the comics, like he killed that guy for it.
Well,
you know what I mean? That'd be a completely.
He just wants his.
Well, you don't know that he had a gun. He was chasing a guy. True. You know what I mean? Like he could play.
Right. I don't have.
He was the victim. He certainly was of getting robbed, but that's still chased a guy down with a gun.
Yeah, if somebody has a gun,
badass. I'm sorry. You think like if a comic book store owner, I automatically flash to the dude from The Simpsons.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like this dude called my
robbery
we know that wouldn't have happened to him. He wouldn't have gotten up from behind the counter.
Well, I don't know. At some point, he became like Dwayne Johnson behind the counter. It's like, like I will chase you down and eat your soul.
Yeah, that's for one episode. Change the next week.
All right. Well, anyways, if you have anything to say on this subject, hit us up at geekdownradio@gmail.com and chime in. Or also, you can go right to the website and hit us in the comment section at geek-down.com. Jeez, dude. I can't imagine a smooth transition to follow up such a